You're told that entitlement is like one of the worst sins that you could possibly have when it comes to life. Oh my gosh, that person's entitled. Fuck that person or whatever, as people talk about. And I think that is like a very broke mindset of like, oh, entitlement's a bad thing. I think there is a good amount of like entitlement that can serve you. And the thing I wanted to talk about inside of this video was to expect more out of life and realize that you are entitled to have more in life and to have more experiences than the average person, or just to have more experiences, because here's the thing, life is going to go on without us. Like it's going to be moving. It's always progressing. Time is always moving forward, and life is always going to be moving in a forward direction, whether or not you are experiencing it in its fullness or not. And so there are two different options. I always love kind of like the perspective of, are you going to be the main character of the movie, or are you going to be like cashier number two in the scene or something like that, and be like have a small part of it that doesn't even have like a playing role in the movie really, other than just handing cash over to the main character or whatever it is, or just not even interact with the character. They're just in the background. You never even get to see them, or they never even interact. And so we really get two choices in life. It's like, do we want to be the main character of our own movie, or do we want to just be the person that's just like just there, life happens, they're not even, no one even notices them in the credits. And that is ultimately the option that we have in life. And we get told, like I said, like entitlement is a bad thing. We get told it's a negative thing. And yeah, maybe there is like, entitlement can be frustrating to people, and it can have, like it can have this kind of gross feeling that kind of plays off of it when it comes to, being entitled to, just having the doors held open for you everywhere in life and stuff. Maybe when it comes to something like that, and you're you're taking from others in a constant aspect, that's one thing. But there is such thing as like, hey, there's these experiences in life, and I am entitled to being able to live the most optimal experience in life and to enjoy the most of it. And you are, because you are willing to trade off the experiences and the time and the work ethic and and go through the things to become somebody that's entitled or has earned the right of experiencing more out of life. And so I don't think it, like, I think most people misuse the word of entitlement. And in reality, it's just like, people feel that people are entitled when they don't know, what it took for them to get there, or like what it is that their normal life is like and their normal expectations in life. Like I said, life's gonna happen without us. Like, it's always moving forward. Whether you do something now or not, it doesn't give a shit. It's just constantly moving. And so the question is are you going to do something about it? Are you going to feel that feel like you deserve to have more in life? And here's the thing, is you see it all the time. Like, anybody that's rich, successful, living their best life, you see that they're expecting more out of life. They expect to have a great life, and that's because they do the things. They put in the work. They learn the experiences. They have this mindset that they're going to put the work in, and they know that when they do the things, they put in the work, they put in the reps. They know that they will have a fuller life, and that's a valid expectation. I expect that if I work my ass off and put 10 times more effort, and I'm in a 10 times more leveraged position, and I have way greater opportunities than other people, I expect to have a more full life than the other person, than the average person. I expect that I'm gonna just, and it doesn't even necessarily mean like flashy things or anything, like material things necessarily, but I expect more experiences out of it. I expect to get more out of life. I expect to find more about myself, and I expect to learn more. I expect to have more fun. I expect to find more fulfillment. I expect to meet cooler people and crazy people all over the world if I put myself into the position of like doing the work, and I do the things that set me up for that success. And so you need to expect more out of life. And so how do you do that? Here's the thing, is if you've ever done it before, where you've kind of had this shoulders back, like chest out kind of mentality with life, and just expecting that you get to do the things that you want, you notice that kind of like things start kind of working in your way. And if you haven't ever done it, I want you to pretend. I would just want you to pretend like you deserve a lot out of life, and that you are somebody that is gets paid well, lives their fucking best life, has a full life, knows lots of cool people, and shows up as that person that is that thing. And here's the thing: is any person that you run into, any person that you meet, as long as it's not like a coworker you've worked with for a long time, a friend or family member, any person that you ever meet for the first time, it's a new experience, it's a new relationship, and how you show up is how they treat you. They know nothing about your past, they know nothing about who you are, they know nothing about your history. I don't know anything about you. What you comment on this video is all of my perception. What's on your Twitter profile or whatever, your account or your social media or your YouTube channel, what's on there is my only knowledge of you. I don't know anything about you. You're nobody to me other than what you present to me. And that is the same as it is on social media as it is in real life. Whenever you run into somebody, whenever you meet somebody, or whenever you work with somebody new, they don't know anything about you. And so how you show up into that specific situation is how they're going to treat you. So if you act like you're somebody that is, gets a lot out of life and is very successful, and you do cool shit, and you expect a lot out of life, and you have a full life, if you portray that, even if it's fictitious, people are going to treat you that way. And when they treat you that way, over time, you're going to just start becoming that person, because that's just naturally how you get treated. And then the feedback loop continues. You show up as somebody that's rich and successful and does cool stuff. Most of the rich people, here's the thing, when it comes to, you be like, oh, Devin, I don't have the expensive watches and clothes and stuff. A lot of rich people, they don't wear any of that. They wear the most, normal ass clothes. They drive a normal car, and they're rich as hell, And so what you're wearing, the things that you have, the things that you own are irrelevant. They don't matter. What matters is what's right now, what's right in front of us, and the encounter that you have, the relationship, the experience, the mindset, the values, the beliefs that you have are all that matter in the right now moment. And so you get two options. You get to either be this person that nobody really cares about, or a very unexciting, undeserving personality, or you can choose to have this personality or this mindset of I am worth something and I deserve to have great treatment everywhere I go. And if you just show up that way, you'll get treated that way. And here's the thing, most people, you go into these rich environments, these rich places, and people are like, oh yeah, those people, they're snobby, they'll do the freaking thing where they point the nose up or whatever, or they're just like, oh yeah, those people, they have they're entitled. Here's the thing, is when you go into these environments of these expensive stores or whatever, these expensive places, really what it is this person's here I'm going to buy this thing, I'm going to go do this thing, that's what I'm here for, I'm here to spend money. They deserve a certain amount of treatment as being the customer, and you go on both sides of the coin, especially being a business owner. There's times when I'm a consumer, and then there's times when I'm a producer, and I'm the creator, and I have to kind of find where the market match makes sense, and where where I'm the thing that makes sense for a business, essentially. And so the people that show up, maybe they're they have certain expectations or whatever, certain type of treatment. Most of the stores that you go to, you get that treatment. You go into Loro Piana, Rolex, or whatever. I go in, they offer me sparkling water, coffee, if I want any booze. I go into some stores and they offer me shots of whiskey. Anytime I get a suit or I get a nice jacket, these places, they offer me whiskey. So if you do that all the time, you kind of just start to have this expectation that oh dude, why doesn't everywhere should offer booze? And then if they don't, more so I start to kind of default towards those places that are nicer because I just have better experiences. They text me, the people that work there at the store, they text me and asking if I want dibs on anything, and if they tell me when anything, they know my style and what I like to buy, and then they reach out to me, they're like, hey Devin, do you want more of this thing? And you get a better product, you get a better service, and I just expect to have nice things. I don't necessarily need the name brand thing. I just want the nicest materials. I want the nicest fabrics. I'm just willing to pay for quality because I expect more out of life. I don't work all these hours. I don't put in all this time. I don't make all these videos. I don't help change all these people's lives to just expect to have a mediocre experience, no experiences, lack of experiences. Instead, I want to have experiences everywhere I go. I expect a lot out of life. I expect to have the coolest thing. I want I want, when I go get a steak, I want the craziest presentation. I want to go to, I want to buy a nice watch and feel what that feels like. I want to, wake up every single day, go out into my backyard and be like, wow, that's beautiful. And I want to every day I get to be like, holy shit, I can go 140 miles an hour right now and go rip it down a road because it's wide open and there's no one on it and I can have fun. I want to everywhere I go, I expect to, have people be like, holy shit, who are you? That's so cool. And I have these expectations of, I deserve to have these expectations, not because I have a delusion, not because I have this like, this delusion that like if I'm undeserving, I can have these crazy experiences, but because I know I put in the work, I know I do the things, I know I show up, I'm in the right, like I have a vast knowledge of, a vast multi-directional, multifaceted kind of knowledge. I know what different opportunities and different experiences can look like in life. I've had more experiences than most people, and I know that if I do these certain things and I provide some sort of product or whatever that impacts however many lives, I know that I will be capable of having a more full life. And it wasn't always this way. I used to think that I deserved to experience less than the average person. I used to feel like, I deserved to be walked over, which is kind of a weird thing to say, like, out of my mouth now talking about it. Not that, like, I didn't believe in myself or I didn't, like, hold myself highly, but there would be other people where I'm like, oh, they deserve more than me and they get to experience more than me. That's not me. I wanted that. I wanted those things. I wanted to have that nice lifestyle. I saw that guy pull up in the R8 or whatever, the supercar, and I was like, oh, I want that. But, I didn't feel necessarily entitled to that. Like, I didn't feel like I deserved it or whatever. But I knew I wanted it. That was the thing. It was like, it's one thing to, like, not want it, but it's another thing to, like, tell yourself that you don't want it when you know that you want it. And I know that I wanted it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have the experiences. I didn't have the expectations on life to give me what I wanted. And if you have not, it's because you asked not. I was not asking for the experiences of life, of having the fullest experience, of having more experiences than most people. I remember when I met cool people that did crazy shit in their life. They would have stories of going to Las Vegas or traveling the world, going to Indonesia, going to, different places in Europe and Dubai, and hearing these stories of these people and all of these experiences that they had in life. And I was like, holy shit, that's so cool. Maybe, yeah, cool about with the money or whatever stuff, but just the experiences that they had, the person that they are, the person that they were. And I wanted that for myself. I wanted those experiences. I wanted to become that person. I wanted to do those things. I wanted to have that impact. And that was what became, it became my driving force. I wanted to become that. And what I realized is that they expected that out of life. They had those expectations that life will give me these experiences if they do the things, if they do the work, if they constantly are trying to find every single way to find that house, to book that trip, regardless of whether or not they have the resources to be able to do it, they find a way. The amount of people that I know that have like no credit, they don't have a job, and they find a way to buy a McLaren 720 or like a Audi R8, and they don't have any of those things, but they find a way. I'm a big believer that if you really want something, you will find a way to go do that. You will find the person that can connect you with some person, that will like loan you whatever money in exchange for whatever. There's always some way of making it happen. And if you expect more out of life, if you expect to have these experiences and to do this cool stuff, and otherwise you're like, what's the point of living? You will find a way to go and do those things. And that's what I am begging for you in this video, is to expect more out of life. Expect more experiences. Expect more fullness. Expect to do cool shit. Expect to meet cool people. Expect to, be treated a certain way and to show up a certain way, and have that expectation that if you show up a certain way and you do the things, that you will then receive the result that you were looking for. Expect more out of life and you will get what you want. You have not because you ask not. Learn how to ask better, learn how to expect more out of life, and you will receive everything that you are asking for and everything that you are looking for, and be amazed with everything that you receive. And I would say, like, a lot of me for right now in my life, I just didn't ask enough. Like, you might see me, like, I do cool stuff. I drive supercars, travel the world. But I see like there's so much more experience in life that I can have, and I realize the discrepancy between where I am now and why I don't have that. It's because I just didn't know what to ask for. I didn't know how to ask for it. I didn't know those were experiences. But then now that I know what to ask for. I'm like, I want this. This is exactly what I want. I want this. I want you know, the whatever it is. I want this. Like, I want this car or this interior. I want this special thing. Whatever. Like, I know exactly what to ask for because I expect more out of life. That there like I know that there are more experiences out there. And it's the whole saying that you receive the lowest standard that you tolerate. I just had a high tolerance for what I was receiving. Now I have a low tolerance because I know that there's more options out there, and it goes to the people that expect that out of life and they expect those experiences. So expect more out of life.